Mr. Smith.
All right. What's up? What's good? What is happening? Welcome to the King and Me Show. I'm one half of this thing, King.
Hey, y'all. It's me, Michelle. How y'all doing?
And we here at the King and Me Show go live every Monday at 7 p.m. U.S. Eastern Standard Time Zone, in which we attempt to offer a real outlook on a healthy relationship. Real being relatable,
Entertaining,
accountable,
and loving.
Monday, December the 2nd. Michelle, you have a job to do, and I need you to get to it.
We are a part of the Rhythm Nation. All right, I did it. Okay. All right, fine. All right, so what he really means is that it's time for me to turn the calendar. So as you know, for Christmas last year, I got King this desk calendar, and it had a picture from every month this year. And yes, I am already drafting the one for next year. I just got to get us the December pick. Okay. So 1, 2, make it do what it do. You like that little rhyme right there. And here we go for the month of December.
Let me see. This is us.
Us.
Together.
Yes.
We were out.
Yes.
You're wearing your glasses. I'm actually wearing a long sleeve shirt, which is rare. So were we out on this pic?
We were on a group date. This is when we went to...
Is this the magic show?
This is the magic show last year.
Yeah. Shout out to Illusions Bar and Magic Show. They put on a real good show in downtown Baltimore. Is that downtown Baltimore proper?
Yeah.
Yeah, downtown Baltimore proper. If you are in Baltimore and looking for something to do, people will say magic show, think, it's magic. No, it's a fun time. This is a primarily adult theme, although he does have like an all ages type show that he could do. But definitely go check out Spencer and his wife. They got married. Both awesome people. I've been like 6 times.
Mm-hmm. And this year. I'm kidding, not this year.
And it is a good time every time that we go. So we're in this last month. This year's gone by quick. First of all, let's acknowledge that. If you're here and you're watching or listening on the audio, look, be glad that you made it this far, right? Tomorrow's not promised. Let's just say that and get that out the way. Now, today's episode was one that was inspired by Michelle, and we think that it's pretty relevant to relationships in general. There's been some updates to what's going on with the actor Jonathan Majors, who had a meteoric rise in 2022 and 2023, only to get derailed in 2024. And he got derailed quick. And there's something about understanding and learning from other people's mistakes that the people that you choose to romantic interest with can cause your life significant harm, and it sometimes may be harder to come back from, right? Do you agree or disagree?
I I agree. There are only a few things that you can control in life.
Okay.
And even with you controlling what you can't control how other people are going to act. So, I think that to an extent, we do the best we can, and then we just kind of hope for best in the middle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see who we got in the building. We got us in the building. Said, love the new entrance. And look, we're doing good. Tarika, let's give a birthday shout out to her. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Your birthday was what?
Yesterday.
Yesterday. So the first of the month. December's got a lot of birthdays.
It's the first of the month.
My aunt's birthday's coming up.
Oh, so it is. It's
I think it's Wednesday.
Okay. So it's not today.
My dad's birthday is tomorrow. My aunt's birthday might be today. Let me go over to the book of faces and find out real quick. It says her birthday's in 3 days. According to the book of faces. This don't seem right. This could be one of those old people tricks where they put stuff off, so that the ops don't know what's going on. That's what I think. But either way it goes, you have some family members that are coming up, right? Your mom's coming up here in about a week or so.
Yes, my mom's birthday is next week, Thursday. She's 12, and then my auntie.
And you're going to be out of town for it, right?
No, I'm in town for her birthday.
Oh.
I mean, I got meetings and stuff.
Okay.
Castle has a concert. Someone has a concert. Something to
She
do.
does have something going on that night.
She has a concert that night.
Yeah. Okay, interesting. We'll talk offline because I remember something to bring up that about, but I got to bring it up offline. It won't be appropriate to talk about it online.
Okay.
Shout out to Free T. Free T's in the building. We got a celebrity that popped in. She wished Tarika a happy birthday as well. Look, that's what's up.
I love it. Like the family and community of it all. Oh, did y'all get y'all Christmas cards? Excuse me. Your everything cards? Y'all get them yet?
Yeah, that's right. You did correct that, actually. Because some people on here... Shout out to my pops. He sometimes watch live streams. Now, before we get into it, I also want to ask you, have you heard of the college football player Travis Hunter?
That name sounds so familiar.
Can you speak up a bit?
I said, no, I was talking myself. I said that name sounds so familiar.
Okay. Travis Hunter is a football player in the front running for the Heisman, right? Mm-hmm. He'll definitely be top 5 when they make the Heisman finalist announcements. And this past weekend, he played his final home college game.
Oh, yeah. I know who you're talking about. I remember the video now.
So I have that video. And at the last minute, as we were producing this show, I thought about including that as well because I think that it matters, right? The people that you pick can derail your career.
Yep.
Now, we're going to highlight this showcasing 2 prominent male figures. But Michelle and I were talking right before we went live, and we think of a woman prominent that had a career that was derailed because of picking the wrong man. So if y'all know somebody out there, put this person in the comment section, right? So we can try and highlight to see, how those differences in gender also matters with trying to pick the right or wrong loved ones going forward. How does that sound?
Sounds good to me.
Okay, so let's get into it. Jonathan Majors this past year, he was slated he was cast as Kang the Kang. Kang in the Marvel.
I'm sorry. I couldn't resist it.
He was cast as Kang in the Marvel Cinematic Universe to play in what would have been at least 3 or maybe 4 movies. He had already been in Ant-Man. He had already been in one of the other Marvel Cinematic movies as well. So he was already featured to be. Enjoyed his character in Creed. I thought it was really good. Yeah, I thought the character was good. I thought it was developed really well. I believe that you take a look at how he is in as Kane versus how he was as Creed's antagonist in Creed 3. I felt like you saw the range that he had, and people was calling him like the next Denzel. Mm-hmm. He was showing up at the Hollywood shows, on all the covers, doing all the right things.
Right.
And then there was a video and an allegation that came out by his then ex-girlfriend, Grace Jabari. And we've got the video.
Well, his now ex-girlfriend.
Then girlfriend, now ex-girlfriend. Thank you. And I want to play this video real quick and showcase what went down. We're going to have to kind of talk about it as well. See if I can bring this up on the screen here. There it is. All right, so we'll just kind of talk through this real quick because I don't know how to bring both of them. There it is. So there was an encounter in which they were taking a ride share. Probably had an argument or something that was alleged. And you can see them walking together, and then boom, this dude takes off. He's sprinting. And there were so many jokes, which I also want to highlight as well, that talks about, something's wrong when a black man is running from a white woman in the streets, right? And he's got a nice little jog, and he's separating himself from her. What do you have to do as a man to where you make the decision? I don't want to encounter Daisy Sosa right now. She wants to get away. Said that y'all are buffering and freezing real bad. It might be us. Hold on. All right.
Okay.
So while we're checking context as well.
So I don't know if I ever just knew that what happened. I want to pause and say this. As someone who has survived assault, SA, like, I do not take any of this lightly. She, the then girlfriend made her statement, and I support truth. I am always for truth. So the point of today's show is not to discredit her or question the validity of her statement. It is purely to look at the actions of Jonathan Majors and his stardom and how it rose and how it fell based on the words and the comments of others. We are not in any way, shape, or form or besmirching or anything like that what his then girlfriend alleged. We are not saying any of that. And we are saying alleged. He was not found guilty or convicted of anything in the court of law, so the term is alleged. But again, her character, nothing about just purely factual things that have happened since this video has come out. Because we're in a position to question the validity of someone.
In an era where people make false all the time to get people hit up?
We don't know if it was false or not. All we know is that she has dropped her claim. That's why we can't question the validity of it.
Why would she drop her claim, though?
Some people drop their some victims of things of SA crimes. They drop their claim because they may not see a purpose in fighting for it anymore. But that doesn't mean that it didn't happen.
And also,
I
don't know.
Because
we've talked about this before.
We
I
have
think it's
in different
dangerous.
I also think it's dangerous to assume that just because someone drops a claim that they're saying that it did. That's not true. I know plenty of people who it has really happened, but they've dropped the claim because they no longer wanted to fight.
Okay, let me unshare this. See if that fixes the stream here. So stop presenting the second video. Said it's buffering and freezing bad. Man, we are hard plugged in as well as on Wi-Fi just in case. I hope I don't jack us up when I do this.
Uh-oh.
All right. I think we're good. Give us a check to let us know how we are now. I made one technical change and we'll see if this fixes it. If it doesn't fix it, is the audio glitching as well? Because if the audio is glitching, we can't do a show. If the audio is glitching, we can't do a show. I'm going to see how it sounds here by raising this up. Audio's good. We can continue.
All right.
Now, there were a couple of different things that had occurred, right? Now, I have to remember because there were two separate suits that came out. There was a criminal suit based on the assault allegations, and then there was a civil suit based on defamation that came out afterwards. So I've got to do a quick picture. The one that was recently dropped was the civil defamation suit.
So the criminal one wasn't.
The criminal one wasn't. The criminal one still had where he was found guilty of 2 and then innocent of 2 as well. So I'm gonna look up Jonathan Major's charges, and I keep spelling it wrong. Okay, so he was convicted of misdemeanor assault and harassment charges.
Oh, well, then we can't say allegedly.
And the other 2, there were 2 other charges that did get dropped, and I was trying to remember what the other ones were. All right. Now, did you also see, based off of the recent announcement, that him and Megan Good are now engaged?
I did hear about that.
I don't understand that relationship. She came out in support of him when Jonathan Majors was going through it in 2023. And what also made it interesting is this. You don't know the connections that people have. You also don't know the connections or friendships off camera people have in Hollywood, right? It's all interesting that I can't ever that they've publicly spoken out in support of each other, whether it was in a movie or just a friendship. But then all of a sudden they're together. And now, as of this past weekend, they're engaged.
Yeah.
Make that make sense.
So, people are going to talk. People are going to speculate. One of the things I heard was that they needed to get him linked to a Black woman, and that's kind of where that came from. How true that is or not, I don't know. All I know is you're right. Like, prior to them getting together, there was never any, I'm going to show up to this or that or anything like that. So, I don't know. That does seem a little sketchy.
And I'm also curious what came out that we don't see that caused everybody to drop him as quick as he did.
Well, because at the end of the day, one thing you can say about Disney, oh, no, I can't say that.
Because of Amber Heard, Johnny Depp?
Honestly, it wasn't because of Amber Heard or Johnny Depp. I was thinking of, oh my goodness, Iron Man. What's his real name?
Robert Downey Jr.
Robert Downey Jr. So what I was gonna say is that one thing Disney is good for is they avoid controversy. So they will cut someone. Well, actually, Amber Heard is a great example. They will cut someone if they feel that it's going to be too controversial. But then that's not true because they kind of did bring on Robert Downey Jr. after all of his controversy. And then there is the whole situation with Amber Heard, how they did not release her immediately after her situation with Johnny Depp.
Now, that's another instance as well, because Johnny Depp, and correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't he proven to be innocent in everything?
I believe so.
And that Amber Heard is just 100% cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. The part that baffled me was Amber Heard being heard on tape going, do it, say something. Nobody's going to believe you because you're a man. I was just like, the audacity. That's calculated. To me, Grace Jabari and Amber Heard, you can put them in the same bucket. Now, let me say this. Okay. Jonathan Majors did get found guilty of those charges. I'm going to go down the path of he did what he was claimed to have done. In my opinion, I believe it still matters who you keep around you for your peace. Not saying that she did something to provoke it. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying
we're not going to victim blame.
Because sometimes victims need to be blamed. Sometimes victims need to be blamed. I'm not saying all the time. I'm not saying all the time. For example, if I take my behind to Southside Chicago, where don't nobody know me at night, thinking that I'm all right to be walking in these a free citizen, and ain't nobody gonna come rob me while I'm talking on 2 cell phones, one in each hand. That I should be victim blamed for making a dumb decision.
No. Because if that were the case, then the same thing would apply to a woman if she's, quote, provocatively dressed, that she was inviting that type of unwanted behavior, not attention. I'm specifically saying behavior. And that's not true because a woman should be able to wear what it pleases. And a man or anyone else trying to do anything to her should be able to with what is the word? Restrain themselves.
Abstain or restrain
themselves from doing anything
inappropriate.
Yeah, 1000%.
And human nature is trash.
Human nature may be trash, but that doesn't mean that you blame the victim. That means that you blame the person who was unable to restrain themselves.
In certain instances, it is my belief that you sure enough can victim blame.
You cannot victim blame. You can't. You definitely cannot.
Now, what are we talking about? Bringing it back to Jonathan Majors. Oh, I remember. One of the things that I've always said about you is that I don't want what disturbed.
Your peace.
My peace. 100%. Be yourself. Be you. But if being you is incompatible with my peace, then for me, this is a relationship that can't work. I have witnessed with my own 2 eyeballs relationships that would have one person poking the bear, and they just keep doing that, and this person eventually snaps, and then people look at the person that snapped, go, wait, what happened? Like, why is this person snapping right now? And I'm like, did you not observe all the times that bear been poked and poked and poked?
To which I say this, you still need to learn how to restrain yourself more. And anyone, I don't care about gender. I don't care about age. I don't care about anything. You still have to learn how to restrain yourself. Because that's when roles are reversed, that's exactly the same speech that we get. So for example, if I'm in the classroom and I have a kid who was wilding off every day, At no point does it become okay for me to lay hands on that kid. At no point does it become okay for me to yell at that kid. I have to continue to restrain myself, right? Go through every other legal option that I have to be able to get that child's behavior addressed or get that child removed from the classroom. At no point is it ever okay for me to put hands on him or put hands on that child or for me to yell at that child.
That's why I can't be a teacher.
But that's what I'm saying. Like,
I'm placing kids in trash cans.
But that's why I don't have you teaching nowhere. But that's what I'm saying. Like, exactly. So self-control, like, that's when it comes down to you. It does not matter what the situation is. You don't blame the victim, and you learn self-control. Control what you can control. I cannot control what someone else is going to do, but what I can control is how I react and respond to it.
And what's worn.
Huh?
And what's worn.
Oh, I know you did.
They didn't hear that.
Mm-hmm.
If they could read lips, they could tell what I said, but I muted it just to say that to you. I can recall real bad in high school. So story time.
Okay.
I was dating this one young lady my junior year of high school. And we were horse playing time, to which grabbed my hand. There was something that I was holding or whatnot. And in the weight or whatnot, significantly stronger than her. But I made it, seem as though she could restrain me or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then I reciprocated and the same thing. Mm-hmm. This could have gone real bad.
Exactly.
Because here, so I had her hand like this by her wrist. She was pulling it. We were doing, like I said, she had my wrist earlier and I was pulling, he and keying. I did the same thing to her. Tell me why she showed up 2 days later wearing a wrist guard thing. And basically she injured her wrist in, us horse playing. And I apologized. And she was like, no, it's okay. It's not you. Like, you didn't do anything. And I'm like, but I did, right? And that be like, this happened because you and I were playing. Imagine if she didn't like me or she wanted to use that for something to take me down. Mm-hmm. Like, that could have ended bad. I just thought about that. How bad that really have gone. Because this is when I transferred to Sachs High School. So Free T knows the dynamic of how Sachs is made up. Mm-hmm. I'm in the minority at that school. That could have gone real bad. Man. Mm-hmm. That was a lesson that, I could have learned then. Have you been in a relationship or had something that you had set up that you thought this is a bad thing and it derailed you a couple of years?
No, not really. Well, okay.
Say, don't be victimless.
On the one hand, I would say it wasn't necessarily a relationship per se, but my behavior, my first 2 years in undergrad were definitely problematic.
In what way?
Every weekend.
Be more specific. How weekends set you back?
Oh, okay. So
what were you doing that you could have been doing other stuff? Be specific.
So my first 2 years of undergrad, I attended Bowie State University. And for reference, when I went to Bowie State, I only went to college because my best friend was going to college. Excuse me, she was going to college, and specifically, she was going to Bowie State.
Hey, y'all, we got merch
to this water because we're both drinking water. But she was going to Bowie State, and I was like, well, okay, I'll go to Bowie. So I applied, got into Bowie, went to Bowie. And when I went to Bowie, I every week, like that was the first time I'd had any real independence or anything like that. So I went out, or I either went out to the club, because back then you could get into the clubs in DC with just a a college ID, because they erroneously assumed that every single person who had a college ID was 18, which is not a safe assumption because you got some really smart people. But I was able to get into clubs. So I would go to like clubs every weekend, and like we got in for free. So I would go to clubs every weekend. And then I did have a part-time job. So any working that I did, I used that money for other things, and to, give to other people so that they could buy adult beverages that I would then consume in abundance. Pop off was like my favorite thing back then. So I drank every weekend and I hung out. I legitimately, like, all jokes aside, my freshman and sophomore year of college, I never purchased any textbooks. Like, never purchased any textbooks. It was really, really bad. What I chose to use money on versus what I should have used money on. And it was just a party lifestyle. And it derailed me in the sense that I passed classes, but by the time it was time for me, I didn't pass them well. So I had a low GPA. I didn't pass them well. By the time I decided that I was done with that party life, didn't want to do it anymore, wanted to like get my act together, I transferred to Morgan. And fun fact, HBCU to HBCU, they don't accept all the same credits. Or if they do accept it, they don't accept it for the same degree. So even though I left Bowie as a banking and finance major and I transferred to Morgan as a marketing major, Morgan didn't accept some of them credits. And then even when I moved over to a finance major at Morgan, they still didn't accept it. So I spent 6 years in undergrad because my first 2 years were kind of a wash, and I had to essentially start over when I got to Morgan.
Now, were the other people that around you also partying? People that got behind or had to transfer, or did they finish on time or not finish? How'd they turn out?
So one of them was my best friend. She ended up transferring as well. She also changed her majors, so that's part of why we graduated a couple of days apart. So we were both two years delayed. Some of the other people we went to college with, they came in a little bit more structured and focused, or they got their stuff together, but not everyone transferred out. The ones who Some stayed, and the ones who stayed with no issues graduated on time. Some stayed, but then had situations. So, like, there were a couple who got pregnant or became parents. So they left, and then they ended up graduating later or not graduating at all. And then those who transferred out, it did take them more time to graduate.
Okay. So I'm going to pivot over to me a bit.
Okay.
And I'm going to answer my same question. I actually don't know how to answer it, and here's why. So I got married at 20, divorced at 34. I am now 40. I have one daughter from that marriage who will be graduating high school this year. And our daughter wasn't conceived until after me and my ex-wife were married. Some of the decisions that I made when I was active duty military, I made because of my wife, right? Mm-hmm. So, for example, I had the ability to go to the Air Force Academy, which would have meant playing, or I could have played Division I football. It would have meant a free academic scholarship and a commission as an officer in the U.S. Air Force. Yes. It's a really good setup, right? Really good setup. But I chose not to go that route because I chose to get married. Mm-hmm. Was it a bad decision? Right? Did it derail me? I'm not economically better because of it. I mean, I still stayed in the military. It allowed me to travel and see the world in a manner and a way at a young age that really gave me some knowledge about how the world works. I still had a lot of learning and growing up to do. But one could argue, the argument could be made that I picked wrong because the 14 years that was invested in that, I could have made different decisions and been a multimillionaire by now.
I was about to say, like, are you significantly worse off because you didn't do that? Like, I believe all things happen for a reason. So
I say that a lot, and I can sort of follow that.
The way I look at it, I'm like, had I done anything else differently, I may not have met you. And you know me, you know I'm mushy like that. So I look at it as, had I done anything else, I may not have met you. Like, I will wholeheartedly say, if I had stayed at Bowie, I would be a mother by now. So maybe I would have met you, but you wouldn't have met the same Michelle that you know today. Because I'm so sure I would have been a mother. Like, I would have had a child, and I can tell you exactly who the daddy would have been. But I would have had a child. Hold on.
Exactly. You.
Oh yeah, no. So I would have had a child. I know exactly who the daddy would have been, and that would have been a whole thing. And even if you had met me, so even if I still would have come down the path of being a teacher, even if Ellie still would have introduced us, you would not see the version of me today that you see now. You wouldn't see that same version.
Okay. Yeah.
So everything worked out the way it was supposed to, because you and I were supposed to be together.
What are you doing?
I'm hugging you. Apparently it's one-sided though, because you're not hugging me. No.
What does your cap say?
Some letters that I could talk about later when we're not on air.
Okay. Now,
I'm repping my sorority. Free T know what I got on.
Okay. Free T, I'm curious. You seem to be really thoughtful about who you choose to give time to.
Oh, yes. Hopefully you give time to us later on this month. Did I send you the agenda? I hope I did.
What? Tell me a little bit more about how you figured out that who you choose is important. Because it seems like she understands that. And it took me becoming older to understand that. And our analytics say it's people that are our age that watches our show. But I wish people like Travis Hunter's age, right? Young 20.
Can we talk about that? Because once you said it, I was like, oh, snap. Yep. I know who you're talking about.
So that's what I was about to segment into. I was about to segment into how people can identify it at their younger years. So I'm going to play the video, and it's going to mute us. But I want y'all to check out this video. And to me, this spells doom and gloom. And hopefully this doesn't freeze us. So I'm going to do it a different way and see if it works out.
Okay.
They keep the drive alive. Going underneath. Who is it? Travis Hunter stays alive. Oh my God. Get shifted with a young fella. Oh, now that boy go right to the cheerleaders. Oh, nah. It looks like he's looking at them. He's probably not looking at... Oh, nah. He look like he getting rizzy, but he probably not. His wife ain't gonna like that. He probably looking up at the fans, but shit. Damn, that ain't gonna look good for my young brother, Travis. I know his girl gonna be talking about why was you staring at them cheerleaders like that. I know these females, goddamn. Colorado wins 52-zip. Colorado with the 52-zip W. Come on, last game of the season. Had to end it off with a bang. Shador, have a great time in the league, man. Appreciate you for everything you did for us, man. No kissing. Coach Prime looking excited. Giving some love to the fans. Damn, that boy pulled his girl right on the motherfucking thing. Look, she's tight. I called it. I knew it. Look, she's talking about the cheerleaders. She's talking about Look, he said I was looking at the fans. Oh, my God. I knew it. Come on now. I knew it.
All right. So that was some commentary that I found online, but it showed a breakdown of what had occurred. So this video came out after the main video
Right.
that showed Travis Hunter trying to embrace his lady after a dominant last home performance, right? This is before college goes into the bowl season here. And you saw her be ice cold to him, and his
Ice
whole
cold,
demeanor
baby.
was like, wait, what's going on? He had a great game on offense, a great game on defense. He goes to go find his lady, and that's how she greets him. And then during the post-game interview where they were talking to him, you could see the hurt in him. Like it was still lingering, that incident and what had occurred. And it was at that moment that I said he should leave her right then and there. She's not trained properly to be with somebody. I said that very specifically. I think that when you get into a certain stratosphere, if you will, people know who Travis Hunter is. I can't tell you what her name is. Look, I'm going to say it. I can't tell you what her name is. I know they have a YouTube channel, right? They're young. What are they, Gen Z?
I don't know. I barely know what I am.
If they're 20 like that, and they have a YouTube channel. Travis Hunter is very vocal about he don't party. He don't do, all the things that somebody with a superstar status that you think that they would do. He's like, I go to school. I go to practice. I play video games. I spend time with my lady. Him and her are engaged. 20 years old. She was walking around wearing some real fancy stuff that the average 20-year-old, I wouldn't have been able to help her get some of that stuff. They live in a nice house because of his NIL deals and money and his brand stuff. And that's the support that he gets coming out of his last home game because she is tripping off of a perceived interaction that occurred between Travis and what she thought was him showing teeth in front of other cheerleaders. Come on now. Come on. She got to be trained better.
And see, I don't like the phrasing, she got to be trained better.
Oh, why not?
It's the wording of it. So the way what I feel you were trying to say is that there needs to be a level of you are a football wife and these are things that you have to learn to expect. You're with someone who is literally getting paid off of his name, image, and likeness, which means that his face has to be seen. He is paid. You are receiving things based on likability, and he has to be liked, which means he has to be social. He has to engage. You need to be better adjusted for that, which is training, yes, but
I was going to say, how do you get there?
But the phrase "she needs to be trained better" is offensive because it's
not.
It makes it sound like she's a dog or some type of animal that needs to be trained.
No, she needs to be trained better. We train humans for all kind of things, and we don't look at it as like, oh, you need to be trained. She needs to be trained. She needs to be trained. I'm going to say something here. It is without a doubt, nobody can say that Travis Kelce is a bigger star than Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift is internationally known, right? Right or wrong? Yet, look at how Taylor Swift acts when she's at these games, knowing that she's going to be on camera. She's not picking her nose. She's not scrunching up her eyes to anything. She's been trained.
Because she's been doing this for over a decade. Like, it's not an overnight behavior thing. She's been doing this for years. She grew up in that lifestyle. Like, when she came on the scene, she was a teenager. She's been doing this for a hot little minute.
Travis Hunter's lady, his engaged fiance, because he's fiance, so I'm going to respect that. Travis Hunter's fiance should have an older mentor.
There you go. Mentored.
To train her on how she should be.
Mentor is a better term.
I'm just saying. You can
But
change.
it is what it is. It doesn't. You know what? It doesn't matter because at the end of the day, this is going to go on TikTok and this is going to go on Instagram, and all of them men who can't spell nothing to say they lives anyway are going to comment and agree with you and all that blase. So it does not matter. But I'm just saying.
We'll come back to that. Free T did reply back to my question, so I do want to acknowledge it. She said, that's a good question. I just don't do foolishness. I like to engage with purpose-driven people.
Mm-hmm.
She followed that up by saying, I also enjoy thought-provoking conversations that foster growth. I'm just a no-nonsense type of person naturally. Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, I didn't know you that well back when we were growing up, but it seemed like you've always been that way, even in our youth. And she said, yes, mentor is the right word. A mentor that can train her. I'm just saying.
Whatever.
So,
again, I'm not gonna say anything about the people who go off in our comment section. I'm just going to say that they are going to agree with you and that they are going to agree with you with some poorly spelled words and incorrect grammar.
mm-hmm. I'm going to see if I can try and bring this up one more time, and hopefully it doesn't freeze us. I'm going to have to mute it. All right. Give me 1 second, babe. Here we go. Right. All right, got it. Let me go back here. Let me share the screen of the window. Bam, there it is. Look at this. Ice cold. Oh man, ice cold. Let me see. She is giving this fool the 3rd degree. Game's over. He's just trying to, warm embrace his lady like how you embraced me earlier.
Oh yeah.
And I gave you
cold shoulder.
Yep, I was showing exactly what she did.
Whatever.
When he was trying to embrace her.
You were not.
Look at this. Look at her. I wish I could zoom in on this. Man, training. She needs training.
Mentoring.
That's bad.
Mentoring.
He got both his
guidance,
arms around her.
Something.
And she's like, now you looking at Kenny, man. That's stupid. So bad. And he was 38 hot after the game. So, and instead of celebrating, being happy, right? She gonna be all up in the Heisman celebration, wearing her dress, hopefully with some training between now and when the Heisman Trophy announcement award ceremony is. Because this can't happen. This cannot, not publicly. Do it privately. Have the conversation privately. Smile in public. Have the conversation in private. Do you actually believe in that? Some people say you shouldn't do that. Look at what Judge Mathis' wife did.
What?
When TMZ's been catching up with them, trying to get an update about the Mathises, his wife don't really say nothing. She let him do all the talking. And this fool to me, I'm sorry. Look, fight for your marriage. I'm not getting down on knees fighting for a marriage. If I got to do all that, the marriage is done. What's Judge Mathis' wife's name?
Mrs. Mathis.
That's my point. People know who Greg Mathis is. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful. Sometimes these people watch our show. I had to learn this. They will watch our show, right? And you don't want to burn bridges, but sometimes bridges need to be burned. They're a publicly available couple, like how Jonathan Majors and his ex, Jabari Grace was, or Grace Jabari. Travis Hunter and his wife, like they're different, right? They have a celebrity, but their relationships are public, so we can talk about it. On the counter, let's look at a good example. I just thought about this. Bishop T.D. Jakes. Do you know anything about him and his marriage?
He's been married for a long time. They got kids.
Yeah, right?
Who are all in ministry, if I'm not mistaken.
And from what I can tell without doing a Google search, you're not really going to find anything scandalous about him and his wife. Most of the people that are in really good relationships, even if they're public, their private lives aren't public.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Classic example. Samuel L. Jones's wife, Samuel L. Jackson, thank you, wife has an Instagram. She be sharing that fool all the time, sharing his accomplishments, talking very good publicly about him and things like that. And he does the same thing about her. Now, his Instagram is more to the brand of him as an actor than his public life. But when he does talk about his public life and he's big in his wife and they're celebrating anniversaries, it's like, it's all good news.
Well, because I think it boils down to some people were
She said TD Jakes is being used as a good example. Do I not know something? Did he swallowed up somebody that I don't know nothing about now? Let me know. Hold on. Babe, go ahead. I gotta look to see if TD Jakes got a scandalous marriage.
What I will say is that it's not so much the scandalous marriage. It's not the marriage part. Well, no, wait. I think there was there something? I don't know.
Oh, he was previously married?
So what I will say is this. I am a firm believer in
his only.
You don't share everything, right? Like you don't put. If I'm having an issue with you, it's not for me to bring it to this platform to air it out. It's not for me to get on social media and be like, I can't believe King just did this. Da, 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 da. No, those are conversations I have with you in private. And I just think some people weren't raised that way. I will say that sometimes people can't control their facial expressions. So if I'm upset, my face is going to read upset no matter where I am and who I'm with. It's just going to take a lot of auto-correcting for me to change that and not have it display. But for the most part, I wear my emotions on my sleeve, so it's all very evident and clear whenever I'm going through something.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. So I did a quick look about TD Jakes. And apparently him and his wife, they've been married for 35 plus years. They did have a rough patch.
That's
right?
Most marriages that long do.
Yes. But is it inevitable that it should happen though? I don't think so. I think that if it is, it's because one person is in their feelings about something that does it matter in the long run of things?
Don't get me started, King Smith.
I'm just saying.
I say don't get me started because there are some things. Lovingly.
What I be doing?
That you be holding on to that are so irrelevant in the grand scheme of life.
I need an example.
But you be holding on to it for dear life.
I need an example.
It's not about me.
Okay.
Like
so
there's
it's about someone else?
Yeah, there are some ways that you act with regards to your ex-wife and other people in general.
Well, anybody in general.
You're stubborn and you hold a grudge. And it's like at the end of the day, those things are irrelevant and have passed.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I do insulate myself from certain things. I'm not going to make any bones about that.
Right.
But that's done out of protection because humans have been proven to be stupid. Yeah. Me included. My back just popped from laughing. Me included. Humans have been proven to be stupid.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
Let me see if Free T has something to say. Didn't he have an affair with a church member? Oop. But let me be quiet. TD Jakes is not my favorite person at all. Okay. Hey, look. I didn't know anything about TD Jakes. I know recently he had a health scare, and you saw his wife even earlier in the day being real supportive of him, right? He calls her a praying woman if that's your jam. And she seems to be real supportive of him. And when he had what had occurred on stage, it looked like almost a stroke, kind of. She's been very public in her support of him as well while he was going through his health scare. So that's why I mentioned TD Jakes as a good example. But hey,
because I think, all right, so I think at the end of the day, what you're trying to say is that there are some women who fully support in public, and then in the background they handle whatever they need to, and that is the way that it should be.
Yeah,
you should not be airing your dirty laundry. And for that, training is not the word that I would use. I would say you were just reared properly, because you raise animals, you rear people. You were just reared properly. Yeah, for that whole like born and raised, it's not raised. You raise.
Born and reared?
Yes, you raise animals, you rear people. Teacher. I'm a teacher. Just trust me.
I'm going to look that up later.
I know you
on,
are,
right?
because you don't trust it.
No, I do. It's just no, trust but verify. And that's how I learn. As a teacher that people learn differently. Well, how do I retain stuff?
Well, actually, statistically and scientifically, they say there's no different types of learning.
Really?
But you gonna look it up because you don't trust me.
Hey, I thought I had something. I thought I was going somewhere. King, she got us with rear.
Hey, look at that Baltimore education coming out.
You and I have talked about that as well. To me, it is definitely important. Like, should I talk about the one thing where I talked about in one of my prior relationships that I didn't have public support?
Should you talk about that now?
Yeah.
I mean, she gonna watch it anyway, so you done brought it up.
All right, I can say it without saying any names. I had an incident in which I was publicly boasting about something. And instead of getting the support that I thought that my significant other was going to give me, I was told, you ain't that good at that. And I'm like, wait, what? And even when I was trying to chill out, they didn't stop. They kept going. So that instantly soured me, because in that moment I started thinking, when are we like this? Why are we doing this? Why is this happening?
I have a comment about that later, because I've had a thought about that. And I know that sarcasm, it should be like a love language for me, because I know you don't receive sarcasm, like you don't process it. Yet as a high school teacher, like sarcasm is like my spoken language. Okay. So it is something that I do often. And sometimes I say and do things as a joke, but I'm not meaning it in an ill way. So I can't attest to why that person did that, but I can say that I've probably been guilty of doing that with like other people, and I'm not trying to besmirch their name or anything like that. I love that
word, besmirch.
But it's just the sarcasm in me coming out.
Too much for me, right? And this is something that her and I talked about early on. I'm not somebody that likes to overly speak in sarcasm. For 70% of the time when I'm not joking around, it's like, well, say what you mean and mean what you say.
Okay, that's fair.
And then when I am joking around, it is a known thing that I am joking. Like, I'm saying it with a smile. I'm like, right? And it is known that it is a joke. But if at any point she goes, I'm not in a playing mood right now, you know what? I won't take offense to that. I say, oh, my bad. I read the room wrong. I apologize. And I don't hold that against her if she were to ever say that because I misread the room. That's growth for me. Because let me tell you, you want to talk about things that I do hold on to stuff. Oh, me would be like, well, you know what? Bump you then. I don't need this anyway. And been out because I value my peace.
Train's going this way.
Train is going this
you
way.
ain't on it.
Either you get on or get off. Free T said, sarcasm can also be very passive aggressive. It's not my favorite thing personally. And it's not for me either. I don't like sarcasm at all because I can't read it. So for me, I don't want somebody's sarcasm to be misconstrued as disrespect. So I say very early on, like, I don't, read or understand sarcasm too well. And if you don't know me and you say it, by default, if I'm not sure, I give you the benefit of the doubt. But then if it continues, I just distance myself from you. I don't make a point to say, you're overly sarcastic, so I just don't want to have a relationship with you. So if you are somebody that you have noticed, I don't respond back to your DMs, any text messages, I haven't called you, but you still call and you DM and you send stuff, it's because you're overly sarcastic and I just don't want to deal with you. Analyze that.
He may or may not be talking about an actual person in an actual situation. May or may not.
Just saying.
I thought about something the other day, and it has absolutely nothing to do with what we're talking about right now.
Go ahead.
However, I feel like my ADHD has gotten the best of me tonight, so I'm just going to go. I want another tattoo.
Okay.
I was supposed to be waiting for a specific goal marker to get said tattoo, and at this point, I just want the tattoo.
That's not how that works.
Yeah. Except in this case, this is how it's going to work.
When picking the right partner, I think that you have to have certain gates, if you will, milestones that you should decide on if it's worth to continue putting your meat. And this is a Coach Greg Adams term: money, energy, attention, and time. There's a certain gate point that you need to get to and assess, independent of that person, to decide if you want to continue the relationship with that person or not. Jonathan Majors found out monumentally that his actions and the person that he was with did not align. And it cost him money that I can't imagine, multiples of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Can he turn things around? Several people have. You talked about Robert Downey Jr.
But
earlier.
his wasn't a people thing. It was like drugs and alcohol. Yeah.
Majors isn't not liked. I think that his public, his public image went down a bit.
Oh, significantly.
But also, if he didn't look like what he looked like, could it have tanked as bad as it did? I don't think so. Like, I'm trying to think of other people that kind of fell in that realm.
No, so am I. I can't think of any. So it's like either we don't know of any or it didn't happen.
Or maybe it's just that it did occur and they didn't tank as hard.
Actually, never mind. I can think of one.
Who?
It's his race.
Yeah. Who is it?
47. 45, 47.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Yo ain't losing nothing.
He was talking about grabbing people by places and, all other kinds of things. And yet, he's still
elected to the presidency,
to the highest
again.
Public official. Hey, shout out to the person watching over on Twitch. We see you.
Twitch.
FYI, we see you. I think it's dope that we got a viewer that tunes in over on Twitch. All right. Free T said a couple of things here. I call people on it. I'd be like, so what you trying to say? I'm non-confrontational. Let me just, I'll say that publicly. I'm non-confrontational. I don't think it's worth the energy to go that route.
I'm confrontational. Bring it on. That's the Baltimore in me. I am confrontational. That's the Baltimore and that's the Jamaican in me. I am confrontational.
He said, and then I'll determine if it's funny or disrespectful after you be like, so what you trying to say? True. She then says, is this a safe space? I rarely have regrets, but I wish I wouldn't have gotten any tattoos. And I have like, she got more than you.
No, she doesn't.
He says, and I have like 12-ish.
I have 14 or 15. I always be losing count on that last one.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Yes. They're just small. This is literally the biggest tattoo I have.
3, 4.
I got 1, 2. So I have one here in this awkward position, but it says Dare to Dream. I have a dove here, so that's 2. I have fight here, which I'm about that life's like, no, I'm kidding. It really does stand for something. So that's 3. Family, I have a cross with a semicolon.
Pause. What does fight stand for?
Faith in it. God handled this.
Thank you.
So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My first tattoo, 6. There's one back here, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I'm missing one somewhere.
See, that's when you know you don't need.
I have 14.
It's when you go, I'm missing one and don't know which one you're missing. 3, 4, 5. Oh, there's one right here. 14. I have 14. I forgot. There's one right here. So you need a 15th one. When are you trying to get this done?
I don't know. Maybe before we go. But it's cold. Wintertime's not the best time to get tattoos.
Okay.
Especially when you live in a winter state, because you're going to cover it back up and it doesn't give the tattoo time to properly heal.
What did they say?
I see it.
Read it, please.
She said, I stopped counting after 12, but it's no more than 15, I don't think. Girl, that's what I'm telling you. I get lost all the time. I'm like, is it 14 or 15? I don't know. And then I literally have to go and recount. Oh, no, this isn't my biggest one. My thigh piece, because I do have a thigh piece. My thigh piece is my biggest one. I kind of want another thigh piece. So that's kind of more like a spring, summer tattoo.
Why?
I'll tell you off air.
Okay. Let's get to our last segment, in which we're going to call this Reddit Relationships. I'm going to read off a Reddit post here and ask y'all for advice and tell me what y'all should do. This one I found on the subreddit Relationship Advice. It was written by KDC99, titled 27 female thinks breaking up with me, a 25-year-old male, because I want to visit my family for Christmas is valid. And I want to make sure that this is showing on the screen. It is. All right. How do I get us both to show?
Don't worry about
Whatever.
that.
I ain't gonna worry about it. Okay. My 27-year-old girlfriend is trying to break up with me for wanting to visit my family for Christmas. How can I make her feel like she matters to me, all while still making it known that my family matters to me as well? All my siblings and parents live in another state, and I really want to visit them this year for Christmas. My girlfriend is saying how she deserves someone who is wanting to be here for the holidays for her. She says she expects husband qualities in me now, even though we've only been in a relationship for 10 months. She lives with her parents and her siblings live close by. I love her and her family, and I even skipped Thanksgiving with my family to spend it with her family. She says this is a non-negotiable to her, and if I can't do this for her, then we aren't made for each other. I'm genuinely confused, and my intentions are not to hurt her or make her feel like she doesn't matter to me. I care so much about her. I just miss my family and want to see them. I know that when I'm married to someone that I would never leave them during the holidays. I would stick by their side no matter what. I just think that this is different since we aren't married. First of all, oh, Michelle, please go. You have the floor, ma'am. Go.
Break up with her.
Yep. Instantly. And
first of all,
yes, please go.
First of all, like, let's highlight the fact that you aren't married. Okay, let's start there.
Start there.
You're not married. And anyone, male or female, I don't care which way it goes. Anyone who is trying to separate you from your family, end it.
Das Boot.
Point blank, period. That is how we get into abusive. Can I say abusive? That's how we get into abusive relationships, because they start with the isolation, and then you get to either physical or emotional or financial or verbal abuse. That is how it gets started when someone is like, no, I don't want you with your family.
Yep.
Second of all,
keep going.
Y'all aren't married. Like, I know I said that as number one, but number two, y'all not married. Why are you letting some woman tell you where you can and can't go and what you can and can't do? She is literally trying to control you, boo boo. No, walk away.
Now,
walk away.
You said something that I thought was a major key. The isolation phase, you don't see it when it's happening, but it is a manipulation in the worst way. Because it's like, well, if you really love me, you'll do this for me, right? And then you'll think, because of whatever reason, primarily you don't know any better, that you are now obligated to do this because it's, well, I got to do this for this person to keep them happy. No. When that is the wrong thing to do. You do not do anything to try to make somebody else happy. You don't. This man needs to say, look, I love you. This is what I am doing this year. In subsequent years, maybe we should talk about how we do this and see the families and things like that, because let's be quite frank here, they are in a relationship. So whether they're married or not, let's say they're 5 years, down the line, whether they're trending towards marriage or not, the holidays are going to come around every year. And with having two separate families, you do need to talk about how y'all want to spend that time. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't care whether it's a together thing or a separate thing, as long as there's a reason for doing what we're doing or why we're doing it, right? So if you were to say, hey, let's spend time with my family this year, and I had no plans, you know how I am. I'd be like, all right, cool, right? Like, that's not a thing. But if I were to say, hey, it's been 4 years since I've seen my folks, let's go visit our family, and you say no, I'm still going.
So I want to clarify the reason why I harped on they're not married, because the Bible does say that when a man and a woman marry, they become one, and it alluded to he kind of steps away from his family. So that's the reason why I said it that way. But what I will say is that compromise is a whole thing.
Yes.
So I know some families, some couples that they alternate. So let's say even years, Thanksgiving is with the wife's family and Christmas is with the husband's family. And then on odd years, it's the opposite. So Thanksgiving is with the husband and Christmas is with the wife. And that's how they kind of balance it out. Actually, I do know a couple that does that. They do that.
Yeah.
So that's one thing, but like, that's a level of compromise. But considering the fact that y'all have only been together for 10 months and you spent Thanksgiving with her family, honey, if she's already doing this to you now at only 10 months, I promise you it's only going to get worse. So you need to end that and nip that in the bud now.
The part that made me go, yeah, this is done right here. She says that this is a non-negotiable. She's trying to make you pick and make you pick what she wants.
Yeah, no.
And if she does that successfully,
you will never.
This is what she's got you by.
That is.
She might as well just do this. I'm just saying. All right, we do have some comments here. Let's read the comments and then close out the show. All right. Free T said she's wrong for that. And clingy much? Like, dang, literally only 10 months.
Right. Like, come on. It has only been 10 months. You can't come with that level of expectation. I will say that our first holiday together, because this was our third Thanksgiving, I will say our first Thanksgiving together, I didn't care what we did. I did just want to do it together. I was the same way for Christmas. And I've kind of been that way every year. I don't care what we do. I just want to do it together. We going down to Alabama for your family? Okay. I want to
go. Okay. Let's talk about this. You know my family does a Thanksgiving feast after Thanksgiving, right?
No, they do it before.
Oh.
That's the issue. They do it before.
This was this. Normally it's before.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say. Okay. Normally it's before, and that is the issue.
Okay. Like next year, I would like to go.
I wouldn't mind going this year. Honestly, it's not that I ruled it out, but I know that the first year we were together, I forget why you couldn't go, but you didn't go. I don't know if that was the same weekend you had the football game that you went to or whatever, but whatever. There was some reason why you couldn't go the first year. Last year you couldn't go because we had Castle and we were going up to the funeral. This year, I assumed it was before, and I assumed that like we were kind of pausing all trips because we had a big trip coming up next month.
And
that could have also been the thing for last year too. But I'm not opposed to going. Okay. First of all, I thought it was always before. So like that is a little bit of a hindrance for me, but only a minor thing. Only a minor thing.
Well, that's why I'm bringing it up. We've got a whole year to plan this out.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, it's different. Like, I don't mind. However, you know me, I'm the type of person where I'm like, I'm a planner. So when your family going to know like what they doing?
Okay.
That is my thing. Like
I will ask that because I'm going to say this with as much clarity as I can. We can certainly go.
But if they wait until October, then it'll probably be a you thing.
But if you can't make it, I'm going.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Okay. I don't care. I would like to go. Okay. If they plan in advance,
and I would show enough life for my baby to be there. But if my baby can't make it, I'm going.
I'm standing outside your window and be like, you ain't going without me.
So I think multiple people regarding this Reddit post would just tell this dude to break up with her. Of course. Like, don't hesitate it. Don't sugarcoat it. I don't think that it's salvageable. I don't even think that there's a lesson that can be learned to where that relationship can work. She needs to figure out some things, and you don't need to be the person there for her to figure it out on.
Agreed.
All right. So we made it through our first live stream for December. We'll be back next week. Could we do the one that I pitched to you? I don't remember. Where I talked about we showcase dating profiles and analyze what those profiles are actually saying.
Oh, okay.
I think that could be a good one. Now, that requires some planning on my part. So if I don't do what I'm supposed to do, which would be find the profiles and, download them, then we won't do it. Because I envision this thing being we showcase the profile for other people to be able to read as well. And then we interpret. I'm looking at trying to get 5 male profiles, 5 female profiles. So look, if y'all are on dating apps, shoot us an email at thekingandmeshow@gmail.com. Yes. Or if you know us, you can send us something
send us a text message
via text or DM. Because people are still on dating apps. I've come out very publicly and I've said that I don't believe dating profiles are the way to find somebody for something significant. I think that dating profiles are more meant to be fun times and fun times only. I don't think people are genuine on them.
Oh my gosh.
That's just my take though. And I know I fall in the minority. But when you come onto this side and you gain the knowledge that I've gained, y'all will figure out that I'm right 90% of the time. You got anything that you want to close us out with, babe? All right. Now let me take a look at the comments and then we're going to close out here. Free T said, I've been alone for so long, distance and being apart doesn't bother me at all. I'd be like, all right, see you later. Now, okay, I have to talk about this. Free T. Right? Me and Michelle can both agree that things aren't universal. I am somebody that I say it's not like being alone makes me feel lonely. I cannot be with somebody and be great, be good. Like I don't yearn for companionship. If you are somebody that yearns for companionship, I'm not saying that it's a good or a bad thing, right? I just say that if you do desire companionship, then it is my hope that your goal is to find somebody that the person that you have that companionship with is compatible with you and aren't just using you. That's how I look at it, right? I came out of my marriage going, and I'll just say it now because it's been debunked because I thought I never said it. But I was like, I'll never be in a marriage again. What I was also saying was I'll never be in another long-term relationship ever again. I'm like, I don't see a point to them. Right? Here I am in one now. And I love Michelle.
Oh, I love you too.
And she brings value to my life. If value is stop being brought, if you or look, we're talking about life here. If Michelle decides that I don't know if King get, there's nothing I can do about that, right? It is my hope and my desire that my actions are enough. I highlight this and I only bring this up because too often, like that Reddit post, he's saying that he loves her. He's saying that but he shouldn't have to tolerate or put himself on the back burner to somebody that doesn't want to be there. Or that he's just simply not compatible with long term. People don't talk about it because they want to be in the lovey-dovey stuff. But 30 years don't make it because you just simply sit in the lovey-dovey stuff. Let's talk about what causes people to not work out. Sometimes people wake up and feel different. That scares me.
That scares me too.
That scares me. So Free T says that he ain't about to break up with her though, in my opinion. He's about to let himself get manipulated. 100%. That guy is going to figure out the hard way if he doesn't grow a pair. That she is going to manipulate him into an unhappy marriage and an unhealthy relationship. Close us out, babe.
I love you.
All right, that's it. We'll be back next Monday live, December the 9th, because you can do quick math like that. I love you too. Appreciate the topic for today. And you are loved. You are loved. You are desired. I'm not saying this publicly. You know, I say this to you private as well. But I don't mind saying it publicly. People think that. No, I'm not gonna say that. I love you. Bye, y'all. Peace. Hold on, we got one more thing. She said, "Bye, friend. Fun as always." All right.
We'll see you soon.
See you soon. Deuces.